Listen carefully, because this is the part where most people switch off. And that's exactly why most people never get anywhere in life. Everyone wants success, everyone talks about goals, everyone dreams big, but almost nobody shows up. And if you don't show up, nothing else matters. Today's message is simple, brutal, and non-negotiable. Show up. Work hard, get results. This isn't motivation, it's a blueprint for domination. If you want a different life, it starts with the decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting with relentless consistency. People love to complain about their circumstances, their problems, their struggles. But the truth is this: your life is a reflection of your standards. The moment you raise those standards, everything changes. When you decide that excuses are beneath you, discipline becomes your new identity. Showing up is the first battle, and most people lose it before the day even starts. They hit snooze, they negotiate with their weakness, they delay the work. But champions, they execute. They walk into the arena every single day, whether they feel like it or not. And that's the hook life keeps throwing at you. Consistency beats talent when talent refuses to work. Hard work isn't glamorous. It's not meant to be. It's meant to separate those who want it from those who earn it. When you work hard with intention, when you push, grind, learn, and sacrifice, you stop needing motivation. The results become your fuel. You'll see that progress rewards the discipline, not the dramatic. Every rep, every hour, every skill you develop stacks quietly in your favor. While others are distracted, you are building. While others are complaining, you are leveling up. And while others are dreaming, you are doing. That is how winners are made. Not through luck, but through unstoppable work ethic. But here's the real twist. The biggest hook you need to understand: results don't lie. Results are the purest form of truth in your life. They expose your effort. They expose your habits. They expose your discipline. When you look in the mirror, when you check your bank account, when you face your goals, these aren't coincidences. These are consequences. You get what you show up for. You get what you work for. You get what you refuse to quit on. Life rewards the relentless, not the comfortable. So when you feel tired, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like quitting, remember this: nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to force you to become great. Everything you want is on the other side of hard work. And the moment you accept that, you stop being average and start becoming unstoppable. Choose to be the person who shows up even when others don't. Choose to be the person who works when others rest. Choose to be the person whose results make noise even when they stay silent. That is how you win. Discipline over feelings is the dividing line between those who talk about success and those who actually achieve it. Every day, life will test you with excuses, distractions, and moments where motivation disappears. And this is exactly where most people fail. Not because they don't have talent, intelligence, or potential, but because they allow their emotions to dictate their actions. Feelings come and go. They fluctuate with your mood, your environment, your energy, the people around you. Discipline, on the other hand, is solid, consistent, and loyal. It shows up even when you don't want to. It carries you forward when motivation fades. And this is the hook most people never understand. If you only do the work when you feel good, you'll never reach the life you're trying to build. There will be days when you wake up tired, uninspired, frustrated, or disconnected. Days when pressure feels heavy and everything inside you whispers, "Skip today." But success doesn't reward the comfortable, it rewards the committed. Discipline means you move anyway, you show up anyway. You push forward even when your feelings are trying to negotiate your downfall. That is the mindset that builds greatness. That is the difference between a dreamer and an achiever. Dreams thrive in emotion, but results thrive in discipline. Think about the most successful people you admire: athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, creators. They are not driven by excitement. They are driven by structure, by a code they refuse to break. When their alarm goes off, they get up. When the work gets repetitive, they stay. When challenges hit, they adapt instead of retreat. This is the hook that should wake you up. Success is not won in moments of intensity. It is built in moments of consistency. And consistency is impossible if you let your feelings take the wheel. Feelings tell you to avoid discomfort. Discipline tells you to hunt it. Feelings tell you to stop when it hurts. Discipline tells you to keep going because the pain is temporary, but the payoff is permanent. Feelings tell you that someone else has it easier. Discipline tells you that every advantage is earned, not given. Feelings will always look for shortcuts, but discipline knows there is only one path, and that path is effort, sacrifice, and relentless commitment. There will always be people who start stronger than you, people who seem more talented, people who have more resources or support. But discipline is the equalizer. It turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. When you choose discipline over feelings, you eliminate competition because most people are not willing to make that choice. They crumble under pressure. They listen to their doubts. They indulge their laziness. They let comfort kill their potential. But you, when you choose a higher standard, you separate yourself from the masses without even trying to compete. Your results become inevitable because your actions become non-negotiable. And here's another hook you should never forget. Feelings rarely align with your goals. If you wait to feel ready, you'll wait forever. If you wait for motivation, you will fall behind those who simply do the work. Your future is shaped by the days you push through resistance, not the days when everything felt easy. The tough days are the days that build you. The uncomfortable days are the days that strengthen your discipline. The disciplined version of you is the version that wins. Because discipline builds habits, habits build consistency, and consistency builds results. At the end of the day, your feelings don't determine your success. Your discipline does. And when you master discipline, you master your life. Consistency creates power in a way most people never fully understand. Everyone can work hard for a day. Everyone can push themselves when they feel fired up, motivated, or inspired. But true success belongs to the person who shows up day after day, especially when the excitement fades. Consistency is not glamorous, it's not loud, and it doesn't give instant rewards. Yet it is the single force that slowly, quietly, and relentlessly transforms you into someone unstoppable. Here's the hook most people miss. Greatness isn't built through occasional intensity. It's built through daily commitment. When you commit to consistency, you commit to a lifestyle, not a moment. You decide that your goals are not negotiable, your standards are not flexible, and your growth is not optional. You begin to understand that every small action, no matter how insignificant it seems today, stacks up like bricks in the foundation of your future. One workout won't change your body, one study session won't change your mind, and one disciplined day won't change your life. But compound those actions over weeks, months, and years, and suddenly you become someone others admire, someone others envy, someone others call lucky without seeing the grind behind it. Consistency forces you to face the truth about yourself. It exposes your excuses, challenges your comfort, and demands that you rise every single day. And that's the hook. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. You don't need to be the smartest, fastest, or most talented person in the room. You just need to be the one who refuses to stop. While others get distracted, you stay focused. While others wait for motivation, you rely on habits. While others collapse under pressure, you grow through it. This is how consistency builds power, by turning disciplined action into automatic excellence. There will be days when you don't feel productive, when your progress feels slow, when the results seem invisible. And these are the days when most people quit. They see no immediate reward, so they assume the effort isn't working. But consistency is like planting seeds underground. At first, nothing seems to happen. No growth, no change, no evidence that your effort matters. But beneath the surface, everything is shifting, growing, strengthening, preparing to break through. The results come later, but only for those who stay long enough to see them. The ones who quit early never realize how close they were to the breakthrough they wanted. Consistency also gives you something motivation never will: identity. When you show up every day, regardless of how you feel, you become someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who doesn't run from hard work, someone who honors their own word. That identity becomes your anchor. You don't rely on inspiration. You rely on who you are becoming. And here's another hook. Once consistency shapes your identity, success becomes a natural outcome, not a lucky event. People often ask how top performers stay so dedicated. The answer is deceptively simple. They make consistency their default. They understand that repetition creates mastery. They know that showing up today makes it easier to show up tomorrow. They know that momentum is precious and consistency is what builds it. Every small action repeated becomes a habit. Every habit repeated becomes a skill. Every skill refined becomes a weapon. And that weapon is what separates champions from dreamers. The real power of consistency is this. While others stop, you keep going. While others hesitate, you take action. While others start over, you keep building. And over time, the gap between you and everyone else becomes too wide to close. Consistency makes you inevitable. It makes your success a matter of time, not chance. It turns your effort into momentum and your momentum into domination. And when you fully embrace that power, nothing can stop you because consistency removes the question of if and replaces it with when. Hard work is the ultimate equalizer because it removes every excuse, every limitation, and every so-called disadvantage. People often believe success belongs only to the lucky, the talented, or the privileged. But that belief is the perfect trap. Hard work doesn't care where you come from, what you lacked, or who doubted you. It responds only to effort. When you work harder than the person next to you, when you push beyond your comfort zone, when you commit to mastery instead of mediocrity, you create a power that cannot be bought, borrowed, or faked. And here's the hook that most people overlook. Talent might put you on the starting line, but hard work decides who finishes the race. Every meaningful achievement in life is hidden behind challenges, struggle, and countless hours of effort. Hard work is the gatekeeper that separates desire from reality. Anyone can want success. Anyone can dream loudly on social media, talk about their goals, and make promises they never intend to keep. But the world doesn't reward noise. It rewards execution. Hard work turns potential into performance. It turns fear into fuel. It turns average individuals into extraordinary outliers. When you commit to working harder than anyone else in the room, you become dangerous. Not because you were perfect, but because you're relentless. There will always be people who start ahead of you. People with better circumstances, better connections, or better opportunities. You can't control any of that. But there is one thing you can control every single day, your work ethic. Hard work makes the playing field fair because it gives you the ability to outgrow, outlast, and outperform anyone who relies solely on natural ability. And here's another hook. The person who works the hardest will eventually intimidate the person who relies on talent. Why? Because talent gets comfortable. Hard work never does. Hard work reveals who you really are. It exposes your character, your resilience, your discipline, and your willingness to suffer for your goals. Most people fold at the first sign of difficulty, but the ones who choose the harder path unlock levels of growth they never imagined. When you embrace the grind, you develop mental toughness that becomes your competitive advantage. You stop being controlled by stress and start thriving under pressure. Stress becomes a signal to push harder, not a reason to quit. People often say they want a better life, but the moment the process gets heavy, they disappear. They want the destination, but refuse the journey. But hard work doesn't skip steps. It forces you to earn every inch of progress. And in that process, something powerful happens. You start to trust yourself. You start to rely on your grit, your persistence, your ability to endure. That confidence becomes unstoppable because it's built on real evidence, not empty affirmation. There is also a quiet magic in hard work that most people never experience. When you push beyond what you thought was your limit, you discover that the limit was an illusion. You realize you are capable of far more than you believed. And once you taste that kind of growth, quitting becomes impossible. You start chasing discomfort because you know that every challenge you conquer increases your strength. This is the hook that reshapes your life. The harder your life becomes, the stronger you become. If you choose effort over excuses, the truth is simple. Life doesn't hand out success. It hands out opportunities disguised as challenges. Hard work is the key that unlocks them. It doesn't matter how long the journey is. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It doesn't matter who doubts you. If you show up every day with the intention to outwork your obstacles, your competitors, and your old self, success becomes inevitable. Hard work transforms you into someone the world cannot ignore, because when you refuse to quit, the world has no choice but to move out of your way. Focusing on progress rather than perfection is one of the strongest advantages you can give yourself in a world where most people are paralyzed by unrealistic expectations. Perfection sounds admirable, but in reality it becomes a trap, a silent killer of momentum, confidence, and growth. People wait for the perfect timing, the perfect conditions, the perfect level of motivation, and the perfect plan. but nothing in life is ever perfect. Success doesn't come to those who wait for flawless moments. It comes to those who move, even when the path is unclear. And here's the hook that changes everything. Imperfect action will always beat perfect intentions. Every great achievement begins with a single step, often a shaky one. Yet most people hesitate to take that step because they fear making mistakes. They fear being judged, failing, or not doing it right. What they don't realize is that progress requires movement, and movement requires courage. No one becomes skilled without stumbling. No one becomes confident without trying. No one becomes unstoppable without first being uncertain. The people you admire, the people who seem unstoppable, didn't start with mastery. They created it through repetition, revision, and resilience. When you focus on progress, you free yourself from the pressure of being flawless and start embracing the real process of growth. You learn to appreciate small wins. You learn to value consistency over perfection. You learn that every step forward, no matter how small, builds a stronger version of you. This shift in mindset is powerful because it removes the biggest obstacle standing in your way, the belief that you must have everything figured out before you begin. Here's another hook. Clarity comes from action, not from waiting. Progress also builds confidence in a way perfection never can. When you take action, when you learn, adapt, and improve, you create proof that you are capable. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on evidence. Every small improvement reinforces your belief, making you bolder, stronger, and more willing to take the next step. And this is where growth becomes unstoppable. Progress compounds. One improvement leads to another. One skill strengthens another. One success fuels the next. Before you realize it, you look back and see that you're miles ahead of where you started, not because you were perfect, but because you refused to stand still. Perfection, on the other hand, is deceptive. It tells you to wait. It tells you to overthink. It tells you not to begin until you're certain you can't fail. But failure isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. You can recover from mistakes. You can learn from setbacks. You can rebuild after failure, but you cannot grow if you refuse to move. This is the hook that most people never understand. Perfection doesn't protect you. It limits you. It stops you from evolving into the version of yourself capable of achieving greatness. When you embrace progress, you develop resilience. You accept that setbacks are not roadblocks, but part of the journey. You stop seeing mistakes as evidence of weakness and start seeing them as stepping stones to mastery. You learn to adapt, adjust, and optimize. You become mentally stronger because you're no longer fragile. Your confidence no longer depends on everything going right. It comes from your ability to keep going when things go wrong. Progress fuels momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. Once you start, once you get moving, once you commit to daily improvement, you become harder to stop. The small daily actions begin to shape your identity. You start to see yourself as someone who grows, someone who adapts, someone who pushes forward regardless of circumstance. And this identity becomes your armor. It shields you from doubt. It protects you from fear. It gives you the courage to face bigger challenges with a stronger mindset. The truth is simple but life-changing. You don't need perfection to win. You need movement. You need effort. You need progress. And when you pour your energy into getting just a little better every day, you eventually achieve what perfection chasers never will: real, measurable, unstoppable success. Your results expose your effort in ways words never can. You can speak confidently, make bold claims, and convince others for a moment, but reality cannot be fooled. Results are the purest form of truth, and they reflect what you repeatedly choose to do, not what you occasionally promise. This is what most people avoid admitting, because results strip away excuses and expose what is real. And here's the hook that hits hardest. Your life today is not a product of luck or fate. It is a scoreboard of your habits, discipline, and decisions. Every action you take leaves a mark. Every sacrifice you make plants a seed. Every shortcut you take leaves a weakness in the structure you're trying to build. The world doesn't care about the stories you tell yourself about why you didn't show up, why you didn't push harder, or why you didn't stay consistent. It only responds to one thing: what you created through your effort. Results don't lie, they reveal. They reveal the difference between those who show up and those who merely talk about showing up. They reveal who is committed and who is comfortable. They reveal who is hungry and who is distracted. The truth is, Everyone wants the outcome, but very few are willing to endure the process. People want success without sacrifice, progress without pressure, rewards without responsibility, but effort is the currency of achievement, and results cannot be bought on credit. You pay for them with your consistency, your discipline, and your willingness to do the work no one else is willing to do. And the hook you must remember is this: you will always get paid in proportion to the effort you invest, never more, never less. When you look at your life, your health, your finances, your skills, your mindset, they are all reflections of your past choices. If you gave half effort, you got half results. If you delayed growth, you delayed success. If you avoided discomfort, you avoided progress. This realization isn't meant to shame you, it's meant to empower you. Because if your past actions created your current results, then your future actions can create something entirely different. Your future is not built by hope, it's built by habits. Results are also the greatest motivators. When you start seeing change, even small changes, you gain momentum. That momentum strengthens your identity. Suddenly, you stop needing external motivation because your results become proof that you are capable of more. Every win makes you hungrier. Every improvement makes you more focused. Every milestone makes you more disciplined. This is the hook that turns ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Progress becomes addictive when you realize it's directly tied to your effort, but the opposite is also true. When your results show stagnation or decline, it forces you to confront the truth about your behavior. It becomes a mirror reflecting your missed days, your wasted hours, your inconsistent routines. Most people avoid this mirror. They blame circumstances, people, timing, anything but themselves. But the strongest individuals, the ones who grow the fastest, look directly at their results and say, "This is on me and I can fix it." That level of ownership is rare, but it changes everything. Effort also builds character. When you choose hard work over excuses, you build discipline. When you choose consistency over comfort, you build strength. When you choose growth over stagnation, you build confidence. And all of these qualities eventually show up in your results. Success is not random. It is engineered through invisible choices that compound over time. The world only sees the outcome, but you know the hours, the sacrifices, the struggles, and the grit behind it. At the end of the day, you cannot escape the truth your results reveal. They will always tell the story of how much effort you gave, how much discipline you held, and how seriously you took your goals. And the powerful part is this: you can change that story starting today. Put in the effort. Raise your standards. When life applies pressure, it is not punishing you, it is preparing you. Pressure reveals what you're made of. It exposes your weaknesses, but also highlights your strengths. It forces you to adapt, grow, and strengthen parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. Without pressure, there is no growth. Without challenge, there is no capacity. Without struggle, there is no greatness. Every champion you admire has walked through the fire of pressure, not because they were fearless, but because they understood that fear is temporary, while growth is permanent. People often say they want success, but few are willing to embrace the intensity that comes with it. You cannot rise without resistance. You cannot win without adversity. You cannot evolve without discomfort. Pressure demands you to hold yourself to a higher standard. It demands focus, it demands dedication, and it demands resilience. This is the hook that separates the strong from the weak. Pressure doesn't break you. Lack of discipline does. Pressure doesn't destroy you. Running from it does. Pressure doesn't stop you. Fear of pressure does. When you face difficult moments, understand that you've been given a chance to outgrow who you were yesterday. Pressure gives you the opportunity to prove something, not to the world, but to yourself, to prove that you are capable of more than you believed, to prove that you can stay standing when life tries to knock you down, to prove that you can lead when others crumble. This self-proof becomes a foundation of unshakable confidence. You begin to trust your ability to endure, adapt, and overcome. That trust makes you powerful beyond measure. Pressure also teaches you clarity. When life tightens around you, you quickly learn what truly matters and what doesn't. It eliminates distractions. It forces you to focus on priorities. It sharpens your vision. Most importantly, it exposes your excuses. Under pressure, there is no room for comfort-driven logic. You are forced to choose, push forward or stay stuck, grow or retreat, become stronger or remain the same. And here's another hook. The moment you choose growth under pressure is the moment you separate yourself from the masses forever, the people who achieve. Greatness aren't the ones who avoid stress. They're the ones who refuse to be controlled by it. They recognize pressure as a sign that they're moving in the right direction. They treat pressure like training. Just like lifting heavy weights strengthens the body, carrying life's pressure strengthens the mind. With every challenge you endure, your capacity increases. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. What once intimidated you becomes routine. This evolution is the hidden reward of pressure. You must also understand that pressure is a privilege because it means you're trusted with responsibility. It means you're stepping into bigger roles, bigger goals, and bigger stages. Not everyone gets this chance. Pressure is a doorway that opens only for those who are willing to walk through discomfort to reach their potential. If you feel pressure, it means life believes you're ready for more. This alone is a powerful hook. Pressure is evidence of potential, so don't run from it, don't fear it, don't resent it, embrace it, use it, let it sharpen you, let it stretch you, let it teach you what comfort never will, because the truth is simple. Pressure builds leaders, pressure builds champions, pressure builds unbreakable mindsets, and the moment you choose to see pressure as a privilege rather than a punishment, you unlock a level of strength and confidence most people never experience. At the end of the day, pressure isn't your enemy. It is your invitation to rise higher, to grow stronger, and to become the version of yourself capable of achieving everything you dream of. So the next time doubt creeps in, remind yourself of this simple rule. Show up, work hard, get results. It's not just a slogan, it's a lifestyle, a discipline, a commitment to becoming the strongest version of yourself. Success doesn't respond to excuses, it responds to action. You have the power, the time, and the opportunity. All you need now is the courage to start and the discipline to continue. Stand up, step forward, do the work, and let the results speak louder than you ever could.